Hi everyone. I'm just catching up on your messages too. Wow, lots from the US. Welcome. So, our first yarnie guest today is Jill from Jillian Kiddles, although I'm not sure that she's here yet.
I think she just joined.
She just arrived.
I think so.
So if anyone has any questions while we're chatting today, you can type them in the bar and hopefully we'll catch them. And Jess will be keeping an eye out for those. And then we'll have a chance later for you to ask any questions and share your work in progress with us as well. I know Jess was just holding up her party cardie. Maybe you can show us that while we get warmed up, Jess.
Sure. So let's see if we can see this. So I'm knitting the party cardie, and I'm on one of the left front, and I've got this self-striping yarn, which is kind of fun, and then just a plain color for the alternate color. So it's basically two different yarns, but with the self-striping you get kind of a different look to it, and it's very me colors. So, and I think I'll choose a pretty strong contrast for the collar and the cuffs and everything. So it's going to be, I'm looking forward to having it ready and wearing it. Everyone, yeah, it's I'm, as some of you might know, I'm also lucky enough to do the editing for Ambah's patterns, and I was just telling her that working on her patterns does wonderful / terrible things for my queue, because I want to make all of the things, and it's really hard to pick.
Which I'm quite happy to hear. And someone just asked me about the pattern hanging behind me. This is the Adventuresome wrap, which I designed a couple of years ago, probably about 2 years ago. And quite a few people are knitting it this festive knit along, which is great. I think it works so beautifully.
Yeah, it's quite the backdrop. It's so striking. Yeah, I know, Tarina, I need to knit faster. I need 4 more arms and 12 more hours in a day. If someone could make that happen, that would be great. Someone asked where I'm located. I'm in the Pacific Northwest, in the northwest corner of of Washington State.
Like 2 people, 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Great. So does everyone
Yay,
see that now?
that's
You
better.
see that now? Okay, good.
Oh, hi, Jill.
Hello.
Yay.
Wow.
So
what? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, welcome. I'm just remembering a year ago when we chatted to you in the videos that we were doing, and that was so much fun.
That was so much fun. I think this is a cool idea too, though. So this is my first Zoom with you, and I'm so excited. Like, I love these. It's like we all get to sit and chat in each other's living room, kind of, and it's really neat. You know, it's something so different. I mean, it's one of the drawbacks of the whole like global pandemic, but it's also like a perk in a way. It's a new thing we found that is actually really fun.
It's fantastic because, yeah, I'm in Australia, so it's going to be hard for me to hang out with you all. And where are you located?
I'm in Rhode Island. So I'm in the US, and I'm in Rhode Island on the in the Northeast. So about opposite of Jess, I guess. We can't get too much further away, but a little bit. We could get a smidge further.
I think someone else said they're from Rhode Island as well, but earlier, can't remember their name.
I know, I can never keep up with the chat, and I don't think I can see what was here before I came on, right?
Okay, well, just let us know if there's any questions that we miss, any good questions.
Yeah.
And so last time you were in your dyeing studio, but it looks like you're in your lounge room today.
Yeah, I'm in a different room. I'm in we call it the guest room, but it's one of those rooms in the house that's so tiny, it can't really have a purpose. So we made it a guest room. It has like a couch that pulls out, but now it's also sort of a yarn storage room, which luckily for you, you cannot see because it's on that wall. But yeah, we've got everything in here. It's also where I do all my printing for work. So yeah, my studio is not always the best backdrop. It's a beautiful place to be in terms of what's happening, but it's not visually beautiful.
And you've been giving us joy with the mixtape
Yes.
advent this year, haven't you?
Yes, my box theme this year was a holiday mixtape, and I created a playlist on Spotify that everyone got, and I decided to put it up for everybody. So anybody who is curious, Spotify is free for everyone. I think they have a paid version, but you don't have to use that. You can just use the free Spotify on your desktop or on your phone or whatever. And so I created, it's called a holiday mixtape playlist, and there's a link to it on my Instagram. My Instagram is Jillian Kittles, but if anyone wants to check it out, you can go there and get that for free. And it's just a bunch of our favorite holiday songs. It's a pretty eclectic mix, so there's a little something for everyone, but I think it's a little surprising. Sometimes people go in, they're like, wow, there was so much going on. And that was by design. So I did all my little minis around the songs.
Fantastic. We're getting lots of comments about people wanting to see your yarn.
Oh, yeah, so thanks. And I see Barbara is here from Cumberland. You're 5 minutes away, basically. So I thought I had seen that name and it looked familiar, but I was like, well, I don't want to say it on here in case it's not who I think it is. Sometimes I have a tough time with names, but that's really cool. You love seeing yarn storage. Well, it's I don't know if I can turn my whole setup around to show, but maybe I should do something like on Instagram tomorrow and show where I keep all the hidden stuff that I was gonna say hidden gems, but it's not like gems. It's it's the chaos behind the scenes.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
And I can imagine big packs of undyed yarn and things too, so not quite as exciting.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to store, I guess. So you got them undyed, you got them already dyed, you got secret dyed stuff that I can't show. That's why I can't really turn around. But as stuff gets released, there's more things. So that's one of the hardest parts about the Advent boxes, are the calendar boxes, countdown boxes. I love that the name is changing, and I haven't quite decided what I'm going to use for next year, but I love that they're a surprise. But it's really hard because it's been most of what I'm doing lately, and I can't talk about it. So I find it hard to know, what do I talk about? I don't know.
So have you got any of the minis from the first week? Are you able to show us any of what you
well, so the one that I have left, I'm knitting up. So I can show you what I have. Oops. Oh, I'm dropping stitches. Hold on. I'll just pick that up real quick here. Okay. I don't have them in minis form, but I do have my project.
Oh,
so
wow.
This is what I have so far. I'm just starting day 7 today. It is a very slow gradient fade, so it's a little hard to see. I feel like in this light, it doesn't look as gradient as it looks in real life. But this is what I have so far. It goes from a gold, and we're getting up into a green right now. And I'm doing the adventuring wrap, which I love. I wanted to make it forever, and I love it. And I'm doing the fringe as I go, which is perfect. Is that how you do it?
Radvent wrap? Is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. This is last year's. Yeah. So that was my. I don't know if can you still hear me when I'm behind? Yes, right?
Yeah.
This is my Radvent wrap from last year's Advent, which was the Fred Claus Advent box. Fred Claus is my favorite Christmas movie, so we themed it around that. Yeah,
the gradient in the mixtape, when you just held it up, I could see it. It looks really lovely.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah. I can never tell. So sometimes my screen doesn't do what I think it's going to do, and if I watch it back later, it looks totally different.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that is. Maybe it's a laptop setting, but oh, thank you, Jan. Yeah, it's exciting to show the bits each day. So I don't know, what does everyone else prefer? Do you like it when people show their minis every day, the day that they opened it? Or do you like it if they wait a day? I like to delay because if I show mine, say I post at 3 p.m., but you haven't opened yours yet, maybe you do it when you get home from work or you're in another country. I don't want to spoil it, like, what does everyone think? I'm curious in the chat, like, Ambah, you tell me what you think, but everyone else, like, tell me in the chat, like, what you want.
Yeah, so someone's saying definitely wait 1 day in case we are busy or behind, which is probably would be the non-spoiler way to do it. Doesn't matter for me in Australia because we're already ahead. No spoilers.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, no spoilers, Christine says. Okay, so that's fair. I think I'm on the right track. I'm going to keep doing the 1 day behind. I just wondered, so I do it on Instagram. I thought, do people think I'm like just not keeping up? But it is intentional.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's what I do. Oh, you open them at the first thing. Yes, see?
Yeah, with time zones, it's hard. I think err on the side of caution.
Yeah.
So which songs have you got in the first 7 days there?
Let me think. Of course, I'm going to draw a blank right now, and I don't have that list in front of me, but it starts with Step Into Christmas because it sounds like it's just starting. It sounds like a starting song. And as my kids would say, it's very hyped. So, you got to get hype. So you start it off with a bang. But I based this because years and years ago, and I've shared this on Instagram, so I'm sorry if you've heard it already, but we did a holiday mixtape as a gift, like for everyone. I made a bunch of the same mixtape, and it was like the Leary Holiday 2002 maybe, or 2003 holiday mixtape. And we gave them to everyone. Like, things were a little bit tight at that time. We did all handmade gifts. I know I sewed things for people. I knit things for people, you name it. And we did these special CDs for everyone. And they ended up being a really big hit. At first I thought, oh, is this, should I be embarrassed? But people loved it. And it was one of the best Christmases, honestly. But that CD started with Step Into Christmas. And when I talked to my kids about, hey, what do you think is like the best, order? What do you think of this order? How's it going? Is it like amping up properly? And they said, the only answer is it has to start with Step Into Christmas. That's the only song a holiday CD can start with. So that's what I did.
So you remember the first one then?
Yeah, so the first one is Step Into Christmas. I'm trying to think. All I Want for Christmas is in there. Mariah Carey. My favorite one was a couple of days ago. That's called The Christians and the Pagans. It's by Dar Williams. It's a little bit like not everyone has heard of it, so it's definitely worth checking out. But that's my favorite one. Do they know it's Christmas? I think. Or It's Tomorrow. I think it already went by though. I think I already did that one in here. And there's a Whitney Houston one. What is the Whitney Houston one?
I don't know. Does anyone know that one?
Is it Do You Hear What I Hear? I think it's that one. Yeah, and I think there's one other, but I might have missed it.
I'll have to go and check out your playlist. I haven't looked at it yet.
So my little bag, I have this little bag, and I try and keep it small so I can keep it with me, like, and work on it whenever, so I don't get behind. But it's hard because when you have all those minis and the extras, if the fade is close, it can be hard to tell them apart. So when I'm done with it, I like get it out of the bag so I don't mess it up or like add, number 2 again by mistake or something like that. And I've been doing the fringe. So then once the fringe is set, like that just goes out. Like number 3 is gone. Number 4 out of here. But the fringe is turning out really, really well. Like, yeah. I thought it would be hard, but your tutorial is awesome.
Oh,
so
cool.
yeah, I checked that out, and I didn't have the same tool you had. So I decided to use my phone for the fringe. So I just take my phone out and I like wrap it around X number of times. And then it's always like, I always have my phone with me. So
that's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought, what can I have that I'll always have with me? It'll be uniform because that's important. So, yeah.
Excellent. Well, I can't wait to see what color you end up gradiating into.
Yeah, I have had people asking, and I said, I can't tell you. I don't know.
And what the finale song will be too. So how many colors? Is it 25, 24?
24. Yeah. But I think I can still do it. That pattern is pretty like flexible, right? If I just stop at 24 and call that the 25th one, that'll be okay, right? Just bind off with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Trinkle's numbered stitch marker, they're removable. Oh, I see what you're saying. I think I read half of the comment. I didn't get to the end. That's genius. And then
Isn't
you know
it?
what skein it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard of those. And I have the same problem sometimes. You know, I have my different colours lined up and then it's easy to get them mixed up out of order.
Right. So my skeins I pack in little bags. But so now it's going to crinkle, right? So this is why I take them out, because I can keep them straight if I put them in with the sticker. Oh, sorry, with the sticker that says the number, the day number. But then it's like in the bag. So as I'm knitting, it's making all this crinkling. And I mostly knit in the car or while watching TV. And the family they were not fans of like the constant crinkling while they're trying to hear their show. So I took it out.
So now that you've finished the Advent kits, are you working on something special for next year? What have you got in store?
I have a lot of things going on that behind the scenes that I'm working up. I do a stock of the season club every season, and every year we say we'll get a little ahead, but we never quite do. So this time I am definitely getting ahead on those and getting all the seasons dyed up like in the very beginning of the year by the end of January.
Wow.
So that should be pretty fun. And let's see. I have some new winter colors coming out pretty soon, but I didn't set a hard date yet. And I'm trying to think what I have that I can talk about. It's a lot of like hidden colors that I can't show, but I have a few different kits and sets coming out, some collaborations, but I'll definitely be announcing it like on Instagram and in the newsletter, and that's how I'll mostly share. But I don't have a super lot with me that I can share on camera. I should have gathered other things, but it's been one of those days.
Well, it's been really lovely seeing your project anyway. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
thank you. It's been
And
super fun to knit.
Yeah, it's looking great. And nice and easy too, that one, which
Yeah.
is, yeah.
Well, that's what I was looking for. I can knit more complicated things as well, but I was thinking this time I need something I can just like make sure to get in, and I'm going to enjoy every second of it, and it's perfect.
Yeah, nice and relaxing. And you're a sponsor for the KAL in a few days as well. So
Yeah.
I can't remember what your prize is. I don't even know. Maybe it was.
I can't either. I was thinking of that and I thought, oh, what did I say? I can't remember. I have it written down somewhere and it'll be there. But I drew a blank too. I can't remember if it was a choose your own situation or not, because I think I have two. I have one for coming up in a couple of days, and then
One
I have
is
like
about
an
chat,
after.
and the other one is we'll find out in a few days. Yeah, I can't remember.
Yes, it'll be a surprise.
Yes.
Yeah. So I just was trying to check if there were any questions or anything, but yeah.
Has anyone got any questions for Jill? I've just realised that my power hasn't been plugged in properly. I think I need to go and switch on the switch. So I'll go and do that now because my battery's getting low.
Yeah, I didn't really introduce myself when I sat down, but my name is Jill and my yarn company is Jillian Kittles, and I'm in Rhode Island, like I mentioned. It's named after myself and my children. I am a mother of 4, and we call the kids the Kittles because we just do. It was a mistake from the kids saying a very long time ago. Someone mispronounced and we just went with it, and that's what we call them. So yeah, that's the story behind that.
It's got a good ring to it.
Yeah, it's a fun one. So I have my little logo. This is a variation of it, but I can show if anyone's not familiar with me. My logo, my daughter designed my logo for me, and this is showing backwards on my screen. Hopefully for you it's forwards, but it's the 2 little sheep. So it's a mommy sheep and a kittle sheep. And this one, actually, you can see there are little musical notes at the top here. It's hard to see, but one of the headphones, the baby sheep has like headphones, like the old school kind, or I guess like Beats. And the other one has earbuds, which I don't know if it'll zoom in there, but they have headphones and earbuds and then the musical notes. So this is just the variation I did for the holiday mixtape. Cool. So I like to have the little, the little minis be all related. All my stuff is coordinated color wise and theme wise, and it's like what makes it so much fun, right? Between the surprise and everything like being tied in, it's just great. I love it.
I know it's so fun, and I love hearing these stories, like, you know, the mixtape and that little picture with the headphones. All, yeah, it's so wonderful, so exciting.
Yeah. Thanks.
And
And
thanks for
thanks,
introducing
Jan.
yourself. That was so rude of me to just launch
Oh
into chat.
no. Well, I was coming in a little late and I couldn't tell if you had been waiting for me. And so I just figured, but you had to plug in anyway. So I thought that's a perfect time to, you know, just make sure everyone knows who is this woman talking. You know, it's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Jan. Yes, my daughter, she's the oldest, and she had to design some different things for like a pretend company for a class. And she said, well, you're starting a new company. Do you want me to do it for you? Do you want to be the pretend company? I said, of course I do. Yes. So that's how we did it. So the regular version of the logo doesn't have the headphones, the earpieces, and the musical notes. It's just the sheep. And it says Jillian Kittle. She designed the font as well.
So have you had the sheep do different things? Was there a Fred Claus sheep last year? In the
Yes,
last
the Fred Claus last year, it was themed after, in the movie, Fred is Santa. Like he fills in for Santa. So one of the sheep had a red Santa hat, and the other one had an elf hat for Willie the elf, who's probably my favorite character besides Fred Claus. So they had like these little colored, so it's normally pretty black and white, but we did like colored hats, and then we changed Jillian Kittle's to like red and green for Christmassy colors. Like it was cute. I wish I had one with me because that was my favorite. But this one, I couldn't find a way to tie in a color to it, so I just left that part regular, and we just had a kind of a black and white theme. It's a little bit different, you know. It's different every year, so it has a different vibe a little bit. But
yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
Laura's just saying thanks for the playlist. She's downloaded it.
Oh,
Did everyone
good.
else find Jilly's Instagram page? Someone was asking about that. It's
Here, you know, I will type it in for you on Instagram. Here we go. Yeah, so it's on the Instagram page on my profile. There's like a link tree, and that'll bring you over and you can find it there. And it's free, like everyone can enjoy it. And here is a little behind the scenes. I don't know if I've shared this. I might have shared it one of the Instagram posts, but I may not have. It's one of those things where it's kind of funny, but I hemmed and hawed about actually telling people because maybe I would look really silly. So just bear with me. But I did not know that Spotify does not play the songs in order when you make a playlist. I was thinking of it like an Apple playlist where, like, you know, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And so mine coordinate with the days and those colorways. So it's meant to be listened to in order. But if you pay for Spotify, which I do not, then it plays it in the order it's supposed to. If you don't and you have the free version, it plays it randomly. So it's all the right songs you're going to get, but they aren't in the right order. And I didn't know that. And I really I put a lot of effort. And then after, I felt really silly. And, you know, of course, I asked a couple of the kids, and I was like, is that how that works? They're like, yeah, everyone knows that. But I did not. So, you know, that's all right. We can laugh about it, right?
absolutely, yeah. And it still comes, if people are unwrapping the daily yarn, they'll get the colour and the song with that, won't they? A little note.
Yes.
Yes.
So, and I put a little list inside of the box too, because I was worried about that. Once I realized it wasn't going to play in order, I made a little list and printed those out and also stuck them in. So they have like the day, the colorway, so they know. That way they can keep track of the colors, make sure they do them in the right order if they want to. And they can also listen to the songs in the right order if that's important. I don't think it's going to hurt anybody to listen to it on random, but I just thought I'd point that out there. It's like one of those silly things that I did that I just didn't know any better.
Well, what else would you do though with the playlist? It's such a fun idea, and to make it accessible to everyone, you have to do it that way anyway, wouldn't you?
Yeah. So, I mean, I figured I could keep it secret and not tell anyone, and no one would know they could get it. But I thought, why not like just put it out there, you know?
Yeah.
It's something free to enjoy, and there you go. So I personally have been listening to Christmas music since probably at least early June, because when I dye the yarn, I like need to be in the zone, you know, so I had to put it on. Last year I listened to Fred Claus in the background. I played it on my computer while I was dyeing yarn. I couldn't watch it, but I could listen. So I did that to kind of you know, get in the mood and get the holiday spirit, and it all has to go into the yarn, right? So
Fantastic. Yeah. And so did you choose the colors or the music first? Which did you create the playlist and then?
Well, what I did was I created like a mood board of sorts, not a very professional looking one, but one that my brain understood what I was trying to do, to try and get like the color flow that I wanted. And then I went and chose the songs, and I originally thought I would do each song, each colorway would be totally independent of the others and just based entirely on the song. But then I realized I wasn't going to personally be happy with the flow of that advent necessarily. I don't know. I just wanted it to flow better. I wanted to make sure it was a good flow and everyone would be happy. So I decided to they're steered by the songs, but the color flow is from my plan from day one. So the songs kind of work into that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that answered that very well, but
it does. Yeah. And I think it would be really hard to, like you've got to have the vision, I suppose, the music, the colors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you let the music, I suppose you could let them, if it was a random set, it'd be easier to let the songs dictate the colors then, I guess.
Right. So when I put them all on, and even though if I listen to them in order or not in order, it kind of like got me in the headspace of the whole thing. And then I kind of used that to go with it. But I also tried to think about the colorway that was assigned to the song and like make it sort of steer towards that. I kept it true to the song, which sounds ridiculous, but that was my theory when I was doing it. So.
Oh, it's such a fun idea. Well, thanks for coming and chatting. We've got 2 more yarnies we're chatting to today as well. So,
awesome.
Yeah, but thank you. Really appreciated hearing about
Thank you so much for having me. I can't wait to see everyone else and listen too. I love this.
So we've got Michelle from Australia. I know that she's here. I guess Jess is.
Is that Michelle Palmer?
Yes.
Yep, there she is.
Hello. Hi, Michelle.
How are you?
Again, we saw you briefly last Zoom, didn't we?
Yes, yeah, a couple of weeks ago. That's right. And it's. I was just going to say, if I look a bit hot, it's because we had like 39 degrees yesterday, and it's going to be 40 today. So it's crazy.
Which is getting close to 100.
It's over the hundreds for the in Fahrenheit. Yeah.
And it's so early over there too. What time?
And it's early. Yeah, I don't know what it is at the moment, but
it must be about 9 a.m.
Yes, just after 9.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
Tarina's saying it's so hot, 104 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, it's hot.
Yeah. So you're not wearing your woolies?
No, I've got some behind me, just in case you wanted me to pull anything out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you've been knitting heaps of my designs in your beautiful yarn.
I have. I feel like people think I'm some kind of stalker because. But they're just so, like, for me, I feel like they're always really practical. Like everything's so wearable compared to other things that I've made. So yeah, I stick with it because I know that I always love it. The patterns are easy to read. The fit's always really good for the garments. So yeah, I love it.
Awesome to hear. And I know you've finished one party cardi and
then I've done a blend of your pattern. So
that's right.
Mixed the ochre with the party cardi lace because I love it so much. So I don't know. I haven't shown this one yet. I just finished it.
Oh, I love those
colours. Showing up. It's a beautiful, it's called Robin's Egg. So it's a really lovely blue. And then I've done a Arctic Suri, the Suri alpaca.
Yeah, I love the contrast.
It's beautiful. And I like the lace. Is that showing up?
Yeah. So that's the ochre pattern. With the party lace.
That's right. So I've just adjusted the stitches. The body stitches were fine. They fit in with the party lace, but I just had to add a few stitches for the cuff. But it's beautiful. I love it. I can't wait to wear it, but it's going to have to wait till next year.
And we had a beautiful giveaway of some of your yarn a couple of days ago to make the ambrosia wrap. Have you got that there?
I've got too. I think Kathleen, I can't remember her last name now, but Kathleen won the kit. So I'll be really happy to see hers finished. So it's long, so I can't fit it all in, but I did. And
it's hard to
showing up.
It's showing up, but the colours.
It's hard to tell because the pinks are a gradient.
Yeah.
So, but I wanted something really soft and pretty. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so lovely, and it's over on your Instagram feed too, isn't it? You can see.
Yes. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And the go-go throw in the background.
Go-go throw in the background. Yes. I had to have it all ready just in case. Yeah. Look, I love all of them. So this, because I don't do an advent calendar, I had a surgery, earlier this year, so I didn't know whether I'd be able to get the advents done. But I dyed up a whole bunch of minis just a couple of months ago. So these aren't in any kind of order. They're a bit random, but I worked with tones. Is that showing up?
It is, and I love the different tones in there.
Yeah, so I started with peach, going into the pinks, then lilac,
beautiful,
the blues, green, and then finishing with the yellows. Was that showing up okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. I know, I feel like now that I haven't got many of your knits on the go, I'm a bit lost with what to do.
Well, it's pretty warm for knitting too, isn't it?
It is.
In the mood at the moment to knit. Have you got a nice air conditioned?
I have, yes, that'll go on soon. I don't like to put it on too early.
So when did you start dyeing? Tell us about your.
I started dyeing in 2019. I started off just experimenting with actually food dye, just to see. I just wanted to have a little play around, and I loved it. So I started dyeing with the professional dyes, like a lot of the dyes here in Australia use landscape. I don't know if any of the American people have heard about landscape dyes, but they have a gorgeous colour palette. So I use mostly those. And I started off with just a little Etsy shop. And when it started to take off, I then made my own website and went from there. But sorry, I'm so hot. My dye space is very small. So we converted our dining room into a space. So I've only really got 6 cooktops to work with. So I really am a small batch dyer. I love the creativity of dyeing. So I don't tend to dye things in volume. I think I would just get a bit bored with doing that. So I do like to do a smaller number of colorways, and I'm happy to repeat them, but I don't want to be doing that, 4 weeks on end.
And do you show at yarn events? Are there any benefits or anything?
No, I haven't. No, well, I mean, last year because of COVID, it was fantastic because, our biggest show is the Bendigo Wool Show, and it was cancelled last year. And that then started the Big Wool Show, which is the virtual event. I don't know if anybody else has heard of it, unless they're here in Australia, but it's an event for anyone, kind of yarnie related. So, you get people like the Nunda Woolen Mill or Bendigo Wool, and then you get the dyers and all of the accessories. So it's for anybody. Yeah.
And really amazing because Bendigo is the other side of Australia to you, so it's actually hard to get to show at the wool show.
Yeah. I know there was another dyer that went across the year before, and just the cost is so prohibitive of trying to get the yarn over there, and then you've got to worry about accommodation. It becomes quite a big a big thing to do. So the virtual event's amazing, and I think it's better for the people who want to buy as well, because you can browse at your leisure, and you can go and visit all the different websites, and yeah, it's really good. So that's kind of the biggest event in the year for me. That's the only one I do.
It was wonderful this year too to watch all the interviews, and there were 2 days of just continuous content to enjoy, and I discovered lots of new yarnies through that.
Yes, and there's so many actually. Even here in WA, we have a WA indie dye thread on Instagram, and we all kind of chat, so it's nice, and we help each other out. And there's actually a lot of WA dyes that you'd be surprised. I think it's like over 20.
Wow.
Which is a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. Well, you could have your own show, your own virtual show.
Well, we could.
Showcase
We talked about getting together and doing, just a weekend event just with the WA dyes, which would be good. But we do have one show. I think it's normally about July. It's called the 2J Fiber Festival. I think Tarina might do that one. I'm not sure, but I would quite like to next year.
Tarina's just sent you a heart in the
heart. Yeah. I haven't done it yet, but I had some friends who went up this year, and that's like the big thing here.
She said she did it in 2019. Yeah.
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 That would be my plan, is to try and do it.
Did it happen this year?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, we don't have any restrictions here. Like we just have been so lucky.
Yeah.
Life is just like normal for us.
Except that you can't leave the state.
Except we can't leave the state. That's right. That's one downside. Yes. Mind you, I mean, the state's enormous. So, we can still travel within the state, and there's lots of places for us to go. I mean, to put it in perspective for the people in America, like from Perth, where I live, if I was to go down south, just say to Albany, because there's another dye down there, it's a 6-hour drive.
I mean, it's virtually,
it would be like going to
a third of Australia, isn't it?
It is, yeah, it's massive.
It's massive.
That's right. And even to go, if we go north to Broome, it's a 3-hour flight, and that's staying within the state. So yeah, it's a massive place.
Well, that's fantastic. Have you got anything you want to share with us today? Any new colours?
I didn't bring any yarn with me, but I'm actually working on Lamina at the moment. So I wanted to play around with gradients, and I don't know if they'll show, but I've done, that's a yellow.
Yeah.
Going into, it's a peach. They're quite light. Pink.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Then it's green going into blue, and I've just started the lilac. But yeah, they were the latest ones that I dyed up, gradient minis, and in the pastels, something a bit pretty. Yes. Yeah, that's so at the moment, I haven't got anything else in the pipeline. I just want to kind of wind down, ready for the Christmas break.
Have you got some of those gradients in your store? Because I tell you what,
they sold out. Yeah, no, they're gone. Yeah, they're gone. Yeah. No, but I'm planning to do some more in different colours. Yeah.
Yeah, that's such a sweet set to have. Is it 4 in the set of each gradient?
No, 5. 5 in each set, and 6 colours.
Yeah.
So it was a set of 30.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Oh. So,
no. Yeah, because dyeing's pretty hard in the heat there too.
Well, that's
air conditioning.
Yeah. Oh no, I don't. In my dye room, I don't. No, I won't dye today because it's just too hot. And my mask gets very slippery, and it's just not nice. So, no air conditioning in that room. I'm afraid. Yeah. But
yeah.
All right. So I don't know.
Any questions? No dyeing today. It says
no dyeing today. No, I agree, Tarina. It's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. Not fun.
Well, thank you so much for coming.
It's all right. Thank you for having me.
Your goodies.
Yeah. It's just I feel like I'm melting.
I was just about to say we'll leave you to melt over there.
Yes.
And we've got someone closer to me to chat to as well. We've got Sadie from Green Tea Yarns. green tea yarns. Is that right? Yes.
Right, so do I need
Save
to...
you coming. Jess will just get you sorted out. But thank you, Michelle. It's been lovely
Thanks,
talking to you
thanks,
as
Amber.
well.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thanks.
Michelle. Oh, let's see.
So many people to
Michelle.
chat to.
There she is.
Yeah.
There's
Hi,
Sadie.
Sadie.
Yeah, hello.
Welcome.
This
Thanks
is
for joining us.
exciting. Yeah, yeah.
So you're in Victoria, aren't you? You're near me.
I'm in Victoria. I live on the Mornington Peninsula, and we've been in Australia for 10 years and lived in Victoria the whole time. But we moved down to this area 6 years ago.
So good to be by the coast.
It is, and it's kind of interesting. People saying, you know, it's like 104 or whatever. It's 16 degrees centigrade here, and I've got my cardigan on and long sleeve top. And actually, the sun's come out now, but it's been pretty miserable, and it's really quite cold at the moment.
Well, fortunately, we'll get some warm days this week.
I hope so. I'm really hoping so. Later in the week, I really like summer, and so I need a few summer days.
Yeah. So what drew you to move to Australia? Why did you come?
My
here?
husband's work brought him here, and we've decided this is where we'll stay for the rest of our lives because it's such a great place.
Yeah. And where did you move from?
We moved from California. Now I don't sound Californian, but
No.
we lived in the US for 21 years. My kids do sound American, and my youngest son, who's actually 28, he's always threatening to move back to the US, but so far we're holding on to him here.
Yeah, he would feel a strong connection having pretty much grown up in the US, wouldn't he?
Yeah. We came over here when he was 17, and I think that's a really difficult time to move because, you know, you've got all your friends and you're just sort of learning about who you are and where you fit in, and all of a sudden you're uprooted and brought to some strange place. You don't know anybody, and you have to start all over again. It's hard even for an adult, but for a kid, I think it's really hard.
Yeah, big move. So when did you start dyeing?
6 years ago when I moved to this this house, and I just sort of I didn't really know where to look for the sorts of yarns that I wanted to work with at the time. I really got in. I just kind of picked up knitting again. And I hadn't done it I really never got into it back in the 80s. And then I started again about 6 years ago. And I just could not find the yarns that I wanted to knit with. I was familiar with Bendigo by that time. And so I decided to start dyeing them and importing them myself. Yeah.
And do you use the landscape dyes that Michelle referred to? Or do you use...
I don't. I buy my yarn from the US, my dyes from the US generally. I have played a little bit with the landscape dyes, but I find it a lot easier, to be honest, to dye with the American dyes. They've got
I haven't tried really dyeing yarn, but occasionally I'll dye garments, over dye, and I've used the landscape and other brands. Yeah, I guess they seem fairly similar to me, but
yeah, the ones I've bought here, the landscape dyes are already mixed with citric acid, and I prefer to add my own acid. I actually use vinegar. I hate the smell of vinegar, but I've got used to it, rather than citric acid. And I've used a little bit of landscape dyes. I've also bought from another company in Australia called, Try something. Anyway, and I haven't found them to be very consistent. Mind you, the American ones aren't either. So that creates lots of issues, trying to do something consistent. Yeah.
Teresa commenting, different formulas, landscape has it all mixed in, so it grabs the yarn faster, which has advantages and disadvantages.
Yeah, advantages and disadvantages. Yeah, yeah.
And it's interesting too, yeah, if you're trying to replicate colours and then it's not a consistent product from each dye company, that you're not really sure, so you can measure it out. But if
yeah, you know, it's like you're trying to be consistent and produce, you know, a consistent colour. You know, and every now and again I have to retire a colour just because I can't reproduce it so easily. You know, like my colours are usually a mix of 2 or 3 different colours, and if one of those changes, it changes the whole thing.
Yes.
Which is what happens quite often. Yeah. So thank heavens I can just do new colours in a new season. It's great. New colours, it's good.
And are you inspired by the Australian landscape? Do you find yourself?
I do. I mean, I think since I used to do a lot of colours based on travelling. I really love to go to different places and see different things. It's really, you know, amazing. I really love China, just the culture and the all the old artwork. It's just incredible. So I did a couple of themes round about that time when I was traveling then. And then more recently, because of lockdown and the pandemic, I've been restricted to Victoria. So I've focused a lot more on Australian flora, fauna, and I've just started a new sock club, which will be starting in January, all based on Australian birds. So, because those are just amazing, they're amazing colours. So I love the birds here, and they're so noisy, and I don't know if people realise that. But the birds, you wake up in the morning, this absolute, you know, flock of corellas comes. That's in our last house. We had this flock of corellas come swooping down at about 5:30 every morning, going making a huge noise, and then they about 6 o'clock in the evening, off they go again, same noise, and just a huge racket, this huge flock of birds, absolutely beautiful. So,
so many small bird varieties too, aren't there?
Oh yeah, the fairy wrens. We were out one day and just by the beach, because I live fairly near the coast, which is wonderful. And they had these little fairy wrens and just absolutely beautiful colours. And we were just watching one, you know, kind of like flit around, and beautiful little birds. So there's lots of birds to have amazing colourways with, which is fantastic. So,
yeah, you could have that sock club run for years, couldn't you? With
well, I was just going to do the sock club, and I'll probably make it my whole colour scheme, whole colour theme for the first quarter of the year, I'm thinking, because it's just so much, you know, inspiration there. Yeah, just incredible.
So will it be a surprise? Which bird?
Yeah, the sock. Yeah, the sock. Oh, well, I mean, sort of a surprise, because the first one for January is a yellow-bellied parrot. Oh. And you can look at the yellow-bellied parrot, and you could probably pick out, you know, from the yellow-bellied parrot what I'm going to do. So I would imagine people could anyway. I mean, I'm not going to tell them what I'm doing, but everybody, you can dip in and out of the sock club and just buy a month at a time. I'm actually doing a 4-month one, but it's really expensive to do 4 months, 3 skeins, 4 skeins every month. But so I thought this would be good for people to drop in and out, just spend a month, you know, and they can pick out, well, we really like the yellow-bellied parrot, but we don't like the, I don't know, something bristled, something, eastern bristled something. So yeah, it's fun.
So it's a full skein and a mini skein, is it, for a sock club?
No, it's actually 3 full skeins.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I tend to do, most of my colorways are semi-solid, because when I started, I was knitting lace and doing that kind of thing, and I actually feel that if they're too variegated, you lose the effect of the lace. So I started off doing semi-solid, and I still pretty much, because that's the system, the way I do it. But I have done a little bit into variegated yarns. And so with the sock club, I'm doing 2 semi-solid and 1 variegated, hopefully that all tie together so that they work together.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it could be for a shawl, really, not necessarily.
I tend to think of shawls. I'm not a huge sock knitter myself. So in fact, I don't like wearing handmade socks.
Having a sock club.
They're too smooth and sort of slimy. I like my socks to have a bit of grip, you know, kind of, I guess, I don't know, on my feet they feel too soft. It's a weird thing, but anyway, so I tend to nearly always knit shawls, but I really got your ochre cardigan on I wanted to make that for about the last year. I just need to finish off a few things before I get there. Yeah.
And something else I've seen on your website is the long gradients, the long color change gradients.
Yes, I do
many
that.
of those?
I do too many of those. Yeah, I do the long color gradients. We were talking previously about the big wool show, and I just had a huge influx of orders. I was doing them dye to order, and it just is not possible to do the number of orders I had and then get them out, and I'm still catching up on the gradients, and I apologize to people who are waiting because I'm doing my best, I promise.
Yeah, I imagine they're quite time consuming.
They take a lot of time, but they also take up 2 or 3 pots. I work out of pots. So they're taking 2 or 3 pots when I could be dyeing, 12 skeins of sock yarn in those pots. So they actually restrict the other stuff that I'm doing. I've taken it all off of dye to order, and now when I have time, I'll dye up whatever colorways I really like at the time, because I mean that's the fun, is inventing new things rather than dyeing up the same thing over and over again. So I'll be doing more one-off type gradients or short runs of gradients rather than trying to do what all the orders that I got in. It was just too much to cope with.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah.
I did notice that you do have one colorway that you must have dyed already on your website at the moment.
Yes, I shouldn't have. I did kind of. I mean, they're all up there, but I just made them like none in stock.
Okay, so I didn't check.
Yeah. So as I do 1 or 2, and then I'll add. I've got a couple of other colorways I've done recently, which I'll list soon. But between the dyeing and I'm sure everybody else finds this, getting everything wound and listed and photographed, and there's always so much to do.
And then kits. So you've done kits for a few years now, and they're always really beautiful. Can I see a glimpse of one behind you? Have you got?
Yeah, this was my first one. This is the Adventuresome wrap. And it was the first one I did, and it was based on my travels to you'd never guess, to Ireland. It was a Celtic, based on the Celtic thing, and it was the first one, I just sort of started dyeing and kind of like working the gradient, and it just ended up being like a rainbow. And it really, I hadn't intended it to be a rainbow. I'm much more prescriptive about how I do it now. So I don't just do it. And as I did this one, I just thought, I'll just start. And then as I gradually worked, it just ended up, and I guess that's how my brain was working. I just ended up doing almost like a rainbow. So
it is absolutely gorgeous.
It came out beautifully. Yeah, it did. It came out really beautifully. So very colourful, very colourful. Yeah.
And have you got any can you give us a peek of what you're doing this year or last year's?
I can show you this year's. I did 2 themes. My always get very complicated and, you know, too many choices and too many things. It's one of my failings. But I did 2 themes. I did Peace on Earth, and they come with an optional main skein. This is called the Dove. And so that was the sort of the main color. And then so far, I don't know how am I going to do this. So far, I think I can figure this out again. So far, these are the colors up to 7.
Ooh.
So we're on, I didn't name them this year. And I was hoping that people would help me name them, but that hasn't happened. But this is going to go from here. I won't say where, but
No, I'd be very interested to see where that goes.
yeah. So I tried to keep this kind of dark and rich, rather than dark and rich is what I'm aiming for with this one. And I'm actually really pleased with how it turned out. So really happy with it. Yeah.
Has anyone posted spoilers in the spoiler thread?
I have a little messenger group that we talk in, some of us who are on who don't mind being on Facebook, and there's been a few little bits in there. A lot of people are doing the go throw, which looks like it's going to be really good, and I think Tanya, there's Tanya, I see Tanya, she's in the little group. And Tanya, what you're doing, she's doing the party cardie, I think.
Well, she might show, hopefully some people will share some of their projects with us.
Yeah, maybe Tanya would. I don't know if anyone else is in my little group. Yeah.
And what else were you going to show us? You had something behind you.
Oh, yeah, I have the one behind me is the Caledonian shawl, which I loved. And I've worn this quite a bit. So I really loved making that. That was great fun. I don't myself when I'm knitting, I don't do repeats very easily. So something like the Adventure's shawl is really hard for me to, just do the same thing over and over again. Whereas I had a really good time. This was just right up my street, this one. It was great. So that was good. And then I've got I must show the other kit as well. So my other theme was the Yellow Brick Road. And so I've worked with that. I think I can say that. I've done a huge bit on Dorothy's shoes because I'm totally fixated by Dorothy's shoes. So those are the ones for Dorothy's shoes. All reds so far. And then I followed the Yellow Brick Road along in order. So that gives a little clue as to where it goes if you know the Yellow Brick Road.
Yeah.
And then the main colour is a kind of a grey thing called tarmac, trying to keeping in line with the road part. So I named the main colours, but how do you name, all of Dorothy's shoes?
Colour from the start.
How do you name Dorothy's shoes? So far seven reds. And I thought it would be fun, I could name them in shoe sizes, and I called one soled, like as in the sole of a shoe. But,
yeah,
I run out of ideas for 8 names on shoes.
Buckle, yeah.
Buckle, yeah, I could name different parts, which was lace or something. Laces. So I'll have to plan it all out and then maybe send people who purchase them a list afterwards, after I've figured it all out. I didn't figure it out as I went along, as I should have done. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that looks fantastic as well, and so different to
Coffee morning this morning.
Yeah, the yellow brick road is supposed to be bright, and it does go a kind of what I call a city bright, kind of a very Melbourne sort of which people around the world wouldn't know what that is, but kind of city bright. Yeah, sort of got kind of a character that each city has a sort of a character that you can maybe.
So is that the Melbourne City Bright? Are you thinking about the graffiti when you say that? Or
Yeah, kind of kind of Brunswicky. Someone actually said to me, "Oh, it looks like Brunswick." Who saw it? Looks like Brunswick. So
yeah.
I'm guessing, yeah, probably the graffiti type stuff. Yeah.
Well, I look forward to seeing both of those.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing people knit them up and seeing what they look like. It would be really good. Yeah.
Well, there's a comment from Tanya about hopefully I've swatched.
Yeah, I remember that's like Tanya didn't have a lot of time yet, so she was waiting to start, I think. So yeah.
Yeah, not quite there yet. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of your yarn.
Yeah, it's lovely to come. Yeah, it's wonderful. It's wonderful to hear all the other yarnies as well, and what, different approaches and how they do things differently. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and what did you do before yarn dyeing?
I've been. I was worked in glass and silver smithing. I made jewelry for 20 years before I started yarn dyeing. And before that, in the UK, which is where I'm from originally, I was a fashion designer and dyed a bit of yarn and threads and fabric and made clothes and what have you.
So very creative life.
So it's just been one thing, and I feel like I've really gone back to doing that. So I've been my little pinafore dress, and I've been, it's all part of the same thing. It's all, all connected. And you've done other wonderful creative things as well, and I always see it as part of the same process. The materials are different, but the processes and the creative part of it is the same. Yeah.
It's so interesting to hear people's backgrounds, people who've come to dyeing, can be from science background or creative background like yours, and still come up with these amazing, colourful yarns. I love hearing where people came from with their journey.
It is. It's fascinating. Yeah, it's great.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're going to share the spotlight with hopefully some people who have some whips or FOs to show us and share today. Maybe some of their yummy yarn that they've been unwrapping, but no spoilers. I think we can be safe to day 7 today.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to, Jill's saying, thanks, Sadie. Thanks all of our yarn dyers that have come and chatted to us today. Really appreciate you popping in.
That is all so interesting to hear everyone's different styles and inspirations and the never-ending way of coming up with a theme for the Advent kits. It must be quite the head scratcher, I would imagine, but also there's just limitless possibilities, and the way people pick a different thing and then go with it is so interesting.
And so diverse. Even Sadie's 2 themes are so different to each other. That's wonderful.
So if anyone wants to, you can either hold up your work in progress if you want. As we said, no spoilers, but if you would like to share, you can raise your hand. Just click on the reactions button at the bottom of your screen and then raise your hand, and we'll see a little hand come up over your thing, and we can say.
So we've got Jennifer putting her hand up. Great. I'll unmute her. Hi, Jennifer, we can hear you now.
Hi, everyone.
Jess will make you
I wanted to say thank you so much to everybody, because it's really inspiring hearing everyone talk about their processes. I'm in the US. I think this is my 6th Ambah KAL. I found your patterns probably like 5 years ago and really enjoyed knitting them all. And I think you've created such a wonderful, supportive knitting community with how we all get together and with the KALs, and the patterns always teach me something new. I'm working right now on the Radvent.
Cool.
This one's a last year kit, so I picked this one out to work on tonight, so I didn't do any spoilers. It's just love. I saw a couple of people using this kit last year and was like, oh my gosh, I have to have that in my wardrobe. It is the perfect combo with the yarn and the pattern. And it's just so fun, knitting your patterns and then engaging in the community with everyone and sharing what we're working on and seeing how other people are interpreting the patterns differently with the yarns they choose. And just thank you so much.
Absolute pleasure, and thank you. I mean, it's a tribute to everyone that joins in. I love it so much, and yeah, it's exciting. So which kit are you using?
This one's the 2020 Woolly Dragon Galaxy kit. And then I'm also knitting Wrap It Real Good, but I'm up to day 13, so I didn't pull that one out.
Yeah.
In the Canon Hand Dyes Bridgerton kit. But I went a little crazy, and I've got 4 advents this year, but they all now have patterns, and everybody else knitting them with them. So I think 2022 is going to be my year of advent knits.
Fantastic.
To keep me going through the year.
Yeah. It's so fun. I mean, I know Sadie was saying she gets a bit bored doing repetitive passions like the adventuresome, but for me, changing the color makes it exciting. Like every time you just get a new color in there, it makes it more addictive. You're like, just one more color.
And it's so great seeing all the different, yarns come together. And I'll say what really, got me into your patterns was I always loved the look of variegated yarns. And I was usually a sweater knitter, which were, the new sweater patterns are like so awesome to get to use too. But a lot of variegateds don't work in sweaters. You know what I mean? You get so much pulling, or they're just like, oh, what was I thinking? So getting to do more work with variegated between the shawls and then the advent kits that mix things together is just such a great way to explore and play with new yarns.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. Have we got anyone else who wants to put up their hand, or has anyone else put up their hand to show and tell?
Let me scroll through here. Haven't seen anybody yet. I just mentioned in the chat while I'm looking for anyone raising their hand. In the chat, I've got a link to the to Ambah's Knitterati, which is a mighty network that Ambah started. It's kind of an alternative to Facebook, in addition to the Ravelry group. It's really taken off so far. I'm really impressed.
Although it is very mellow in there compared to the Ravelry threads.
True.
Which is
so if maybe you find the Ravelry hard to keep up with, but you want a slightly quieter group to join, join us there.
Yeah.
So there are.
It was largely about the people who couldn't use Ravelry anymore. So a place to get together that's off Ravelry.
Yeah, it's as Michelle said, it's a lot going on in the Ravelry thread.
Yeah.
Looks like Elizabeth has got their hand up, so we'll go ahead and.
Yes, I also wanted to thank you for hosting the KAL. I've bought all the patterns, and I've never done an advent before, and somehow I too have 4. So the other 3, I'm just opening them and I'm going to look, and I was thinking maybe the Party Cardi and the Fest. But this Miss Babs one is so pretty. And I'm doing the skein every day and just doing 1 a day. So here's 7. I need to stay up a couple more hours and finish that. But these colors, I'm just in love. And it's called Champagne and Roses, and I'm doing the go-go throw.
That is absolutely gorgeous. I love those colors.
Her colors are amazing, right?
Yeah.
And this will go to my husband for Christmas. He needs every chair in the living room has blankets on it, but he doesn't have one. So this will go in his chair.
Oh, how lovely. Does he know that that's his?
He does, because I sit next to him and go, look at this color.
and a roses for you, sweetie.
Yes. Champagne and roses for you, babe. So anyway, loving this pattern. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's so
Thank you.
gorgeous. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else got anything to share?
Yeah, there's a couple others. Let's
Yay.
see. We've got Liz. So Go ahead and join us, Liz.
Okay.
Hi, Liz.
Hi, I'm feeling cold in Canberra in Australia. So
Did you say cold in Canberra?
yes, cold and rainy. But yes, I'm happy knitting, and I'm knitting the Lamina wrap,
Beautiful.
and it's the set is from Natural Fibre Art, Cheryl in Queensland, and it's going to be a gradient, I think, but the first two look the same to me. I just started on one that's a little bit paler, and then I've got some more coming up.
Oh yeah, that's shifting.
Yes, it's shifting, then it's moving along,
Hmm.
and I have opened some more, but I won't tell you what colour it is next.
Have you opened them all?
I did, because I wanted to work out what I was going to do.
Yeah.
It took me a while to decide. I did like the party cardi too, but I decided on this in the end. And I'm putting and this is a mohair in the middle.
Oh wow.
I'm doing for the contrast.
Yeah.
And it just coincidentally also came from Cheryl about 3 months ago. She was getting rid of a lot of the mohair. And I just picked this colour out and just found it when I was agonising over my choices. So there we are.
Oh, it's so lovely. And you'll have enough yarn left over from after knitting that to knit something else as well.
Heaps, which is a shame. You know, like, oh no, I've got to think of something else. I think I might do an adventurer wrap as well.
Yeah.
That's very lovely too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that.
Nice.
Liz. Beautiful. I can't wait to see the rest of the kit. That looks so lovely already.
Yeah, I think it'd be nice.
And who else have we got?
We've got Bev. So I'll go ahead and add Bev here. Hi, Bev.
Hi,
Yeah.
Bev.
Yeah. Well, I saw your blurb on I get an email from you about the party cardi, and I decided I wanted to do it. And so I could take it with me on a cruise I'm going on next June, and it would go with anything I had on. So I got Miss Bab's different packs.
Oh, wow. Beautiful.
These are some of the colors. It's going to be very multicolored. These are three of the pack, and I had started finding another pack, and so these are three of the colors, and these are the other three colors. Off the back of my desk, so
Fantastic.
I've just started, and I'm having well, you don't need to see that Kleenex. So I've got these colors, and I don't know exactly how I'm going to put them together. I just read through your directions, and I thought, what in the world is she talking about? I read through them again, and then I read through them again, and I said, oh, I see what she's doing. You're starting at the sleeve.
Up the top here.
Yeah,
So,
and all the way down. I
the
have
borders
only
are cast on.
Right. I've only cast on with Judy's Magic, cast on what, 7-8 stitches for toe up socks, which I prefer to do. So I can't imagine doing, well, 230, and I'll be knitting a 42. And so
I
it's gonna
really
be
recommend
fun.
her video. If you haven't watched the tutorial
I
yet,
haven't
watch
watched
that.
the video, but I will.
Yeah,
I will
it's really,
before.
because it seems daunting at first, but then once you get into the rhythm of it, I find it to be
And then
pretty, and
this
especially if
is
you've done it for toe up.
That's my color I'm going to use for
For the
the
lace.
lace and the
Yeah.
and the binding around the.
So once you've cast on, it's so easy. It's just stocking it. It's really easy to knit. Are you planning to do stripes of colours or to have them sort of fade into each other?
I'm not real sure, because a lot of these colors don't fade into. I'll have to put them all out and arrange them and see if I can get them to fade into each other, because see, like this one, they don't really fade into each other in this in that pack. They go from magenta to a blue,
Yeah.
but none of them fade in. But each pack has some of this same color in it, but it's different. And
But they'll look so good as stripes too. They'll kind of fade in a less subtle way, but will flow really beautifully.
yeah, but this'll be an interesting knit. I like something that keeps me on my toes.
Well, I can't wait to see it. That's so exciting. And where will your cruise be? Where are you going?
I'm going on a beading cruise, and we fly into Copenhagen. We go on a Baltic cruise. We'll be going to Denmark, Norway, someplace in northern Germany, in Russia, and it'll be a 2-week cruise.
Wow, that sounds incredible.
And I live in East Tennessee, if you can't tell that I have a very southern accent, but we're only East Tennessee. We're 29 miles from the North Carolina state line. So we're really in East Tennessee. And for you Aussies who don't know about Tennessee, it's one of the longest states in the states. And to go from the northeast corner to Memphis, it takes you about 8.5 hours.
That is long. So long and narrow. I'll have to go and look at the map.
Long and narrow. Takes you like an hour to go, hour and a half to go across the state. It's only 110 miles across, but it's 600 and something miles from one tip to from the northeast corner. And that's where Miss Babs is. She's in that northeast corner of Tennessee. That's where she lives.
And so that's the yarn you have there too, isn't it, Miss Babs' yarn?
This is Miss Babs' yarn. I love her yarn, but sometimes the way it's put up, I just about lost my religion earlier tonight when this ball right here wound up. It just went all to pieces. So I had to do my own pull from the center ball after about 4 twists of I don't know, it was messed up.
Well, it's frustrating when that happens.
Very frustrating. Yes, very frustrating.
Well, it looks like you're on track
and
now.
I'm doing an idiot knit right now because I just undid a whole bunch of stitches too. It's the yarn that changes. So thick and thin, it goes from lace weight to bulky weight in this thing. And I will not be wearing this with just a bra underneath because it's very see-through where this lace part is. I will have to be wearing that underneath something else.
Well, I look forward to seeing the results of the party cardie. I hope you'll share it with us.
I can't wait to get started on it.
Yeah. Fantastic. Thanks, Bev.
And I really appreciate hearing about all the different dyers. That was very interesting.
It's fun, isn't it? Learning about the dyers and their stories.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyone else wanting to share their project? Or a finished object?
Looks like that's everyone. Anybody else you can either raise your hand or you can also just pop a note in the chat if you would like. Otherwise, we're just at about an hour and a half now.
Wow. So next week we are having, it will be 7 a.m. for me, so probably too early for our Western Australian yarn dyers. It'll be 4 a.m. for Tarina and Michelle. But we will be able to have Europe join us and the UK. Right now, this time that we have this, it's quite late for them, I think. So it will be kind of late-ish still for them, and then for the US around lunchtime. So, you're going to say, Tarina saying she'll stay in bed and listen. We'll record it so that everyone can watch afterwards. And we'll have Jill from Cloudberry Yarns, who's been delighting us with the story of the giant goat in the Middelong. So she'll be coming and chatting to us about the giant goat. Hopefully you're familiar with that story, but that's been really fun to hear about. And Yeah, so I look forward to that next week a bit earlier. Hopefully you'll be able to join us and bring your whips along and FOs and all the yarn that you've been unwrapping, and we'll share some more.
Looks like we do have one more with their hand up. It's Laura, so I'll spotlight Laura real quick.
Yeah, I just
Hi, Laura.
wanted to give some support to Bev with the cast on issues. I was all ready to start my Radvent pillow with not a set, and then I read the cast on instructions where I needed to have like multiple needles, and I was like, this is going to be so good when it's done, but I can't get started. So I just wanted to tell Bev that she's not the only one who's procrastinating just because of the cast on, but it'll be worth it when it's all done, and it will join all my other hand knit pillows.
Oh,
here.
wow, look at that collection.
Well, I haven't started because I just got this yarn over the last weekend, and I'm just now getting around to, you know, putting it up into little balls. And so until I get that done, I can't start on it.
Yeah.
We only need one colour to start, but I do recommend having a good night's sleep and not doing it at night or after a glass of wine.
It'll be worth it. We will
Yeah.
cast on and we will get this done. And Ambah's patterns are always so good, and she wouldn't make us do a complicated cast on for no reason. So
No.
yeah, they're always worth
Well,
it.
I've done something similar to this when I did Haida Foodie, a Japanese sweater, and it was very strange. I said, "You do what?" And I did it, and it worked out. But I
Yeah.
thought, what in the world are they telling me to do?
Okay, a tip from Michelle. She's saying her first try was too tight, so keep that in mind.
Also,
And
my
Stevie's
cat
saying
wants to
goodbye.
say
She's
hi.
off to Dyson Yarn. Hello, kitty.
Kitty.
Oh,
Yeah, she's meowing and meowing. She loves Zoom. She thinks you're all here to see her.
yeah,
Are.
of course.
She's not wrong.
Yes. Oh, and this cat's name is Miss Phryne Fisher, Lady Detective. So
Oh, Aussie.
I
Australian.
love Phryne.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Well, thanks so much. Thanks again to our yarn dyers who've come and chatted, and also to everyone who brought a project to share with us. It's really wonderful to see those, and we'll keep chatting in the KAL threads. And yeah, I can't wait to see these kits unfold. So thanks, everyone. See you next week.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Have a good
Good
night.
night.
Thank
Good
you.
night.